All right, everyone. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, the websites by plebes. And today we've got special guest, fellow Bitcoiner Nick Can't Mine from Bitcoin Magazine. All right, drop us a like and subscribe. We're going to the numbers. All right. We are currently at a block height of 677,054. Current Bitcoin price, 58,800. Chain rewrite days, 595. Total lightning capacity, 1,168.72. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 9.96%. Sats per dollar. Look at how we dropped. 1,701 sats per dollar, and we are inching up to that all-time high once again. Will we break it?
Slowly but surely, man. We are 0.4% away from 10% of the goal of the Bitcoin versus gold market cap. That's crazy. It's only a 10x. To reach, I mean, only a 10, we're so spoiled. But yeah, man, it absolutely crazy. Phenomenal numbers. Just another day in Bitcoin. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. All right. So for the daily fail, we have return offender Sean Ryan Adams, or at Ryan S. Adams. And Visa is now an Ethereum sidechain. Think about that for a minute. How about no? Okay, so look, just because Visa came out with an article that it's going to settle transactions for USDC, right? That it's going to start to do that. That really doesn't mean that it's a sidechain. And I get it, right? They want to be excited about that. But at the end of the day, Visa owns 60% of the payment rails and they own 20% of Square, okay? Which does all of its business in Bitcoin. So this partnership parade that he's getting a boner over, this is ridiculous and sad. But they always try to pump it up, right? Because ETH, right? ETH is money all of a sudden, right? It's the world computer. It saves the planet. It does everything, right? Except for what it's supposed to do. So anyways, it's just I can't stand their stupid narratives. They try to sucker people into ETH like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still, we don't know the supply, you know, we still don't know.
Neither do they.
Vitalik doesn't even know. No one knows, right? And that's supposed to be, they're competing against the most secure money on the planet, which is Bitcoin, right? And they can't even tell us the supply, it's a joke. And to think that Visa would pick a less secure money, right? I don't know. Anyways, Nick, what are your thoughts on this?
Just give the children like him their little win. While we're on our way to memeing Bitcoin to the global reserve currency, they can have these little meaningless wins. This is actually the first I've heard of this. I've muted ETH on my timeline on Twitter. I just don't even pay attention to it anymore, especially this dude. And I know there's another dude. I'm not going to name his name, but y'all know who he is. Some of the ETH influencers are just so cringe. And it's just Ethereum cannot compare to Bitcoin in any way. It's just such a waste of time. And I totally agree with what Phil was saying. If it came down to Visa choosing Bitcoin versus Ethereum, they choose Bitcoin all day, every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it's so funny because they got excited about the USDC, right? Dude, first of all, the person that controls the smart contract and the USDC has all the power, right? So it's what are you celebrating, right? It's not decentralization, right? It's stupid. Anyways, yeah. ETH narratives, terrible. They're going to have fun staying poor. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by Publord.hodl, definitely a plebe, at Guy D. Bennett. I apologize. Anyway, Laura Shin looking for facts. Dude, I literally purposely didn't read it until I reviewed it so that you guys could get the laugh. Phil, phenomenal meme. It is in a little bit of insider-ish. But Michael Saylor definitely ripped her a metaphorical new one. And for that, I'm going to give it a tomato and grape. Ooh. What about you, Phil?
Tomato and grape. It's the first time I've seen you come out with the fruit vegetable combo. Very nice. Very well done. So look, like you said, this is a niche meme. It's insider. Chances are you wouldn't understand it unless you actually watched the interview. I didn't watch the whole interview. I just saw some clips from it, like the ones where Michael Saylor wrecked her, that like just completely destroyed the questions.
And you've said that you didn't buy the Bitcoin to sell it, but would MicroStrategy ever take some off the table when you sense the market is at a top and then just buy in later when there's another correction? Or do you just plan to hodl through all the cycles, and weather those, whatever 80% downturns when the crypto markets are in a bear market?
Yeah, again, I just disagree with your characterization. I don't expect an 80% downturn. I don't think it's a speculative asset, and I don't think you can quote unquote take money off the table. You're speaking like a crypto trader right now.
So look, it was it kind of even got cringy a little bit because, once again, you kind of expect her, I guess, to know a little more, but maybe not, right? Like, I guess it all depends. Somebody who's been in the space for that long. It gets kind of cringe when that type of act, comes on. Anyways, I am going with very solid. It's going to be an SSD to USB adapter. Very
phenomenal, nice. Phenomenal score. I've never seen that before, dude. Nick,
I try.
What are you going to give that meme?
I love all the Lorshin memes. I think they're freaking hilarious. Like, I was off in a Twitter thread and we were just going back and forth to people like typing in all caps, like, "You're starting to sound like a crypto trader, Laura. It's going up forever, Laura." Like, I was genuinely just sitting in my chair laughing like an idiot at my phone all night, and I loved it. So I'm going to give it a nature-made high absorption magnesium gummy because it was strong.
Damn.
Good luck finding that thing.
I know. My part of my expression was like enjoying the rating, and then part of my expression was like, I'm gonna have fun editing tomorrow. But great scores. Great scores. Cable, tomato, grape, and gummy bear. Right?
Very, very fancy gummy bear.
Very, very fancy gummy bear. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody. So the news for today, I did a little bit of an investigative work. So check this out. Stay with me, guys, because this is kind of a big deal. So BTC Pay Server, obviously tweeted is an update, right? But, the devil's in the details, right? You scroll down, it says, "We want to thank Tesla for submitting the disclosure that led to these fixes and helping us with the remediation. Thank you for contributing to the community and helping keep our users safe," right? So Tesla has contributed to BTC Core. That in itself is pretty badass, right? But if you explore Elon's tweet, right, it says you can now buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. Tesla is using only internal and open source software and operates Bitcoin nodes directly. So if you look at this, right, and you look at this tweet, when they're talking about that open source software, Tesla is using BTC Pay Server. That is freaking awesome. Of course, we can't confirm that, right? But just look at the tweets, right? That's my speculation, of course. Phil, what do you think? And then we'll get our guest thoughts.
Okay, so don't get me wrong, but when I first saw that tweet from Tesla, I assumed, or I should say from Elon Musk, I assumed that BTC Pay Server was part of that open source software that they were referring to. So like we're making a, somewhat of an educated guess that that's what's happening. And I think that the money's right on, so that is actually really cool. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of curious and interested to see, which companies come out and start to fund the development in Bitcoin, right? To help fund it, right? Because obviously there are already funding sources and there are already many things in place, but I'm interested to see, based on this, the next step up is, okay, so which company decides, hey, I want to help the Bitcoin community?
I know Square, Jack Dorsey has taken an initiative to kind of help that cause, right?
That's right.
So, it's definitely happening in the background, but man, that is so freaking awesome, dude. Nick, what are your thoughts? This is extremely bullish, bro.
Dude, it's so freaking cool to see, them using all the same stuff that we use and that we promote and stuff. Like, I mean, Tesla is one of the biggest companies on the planet. You know, they bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're not just sitting on it; they're actually getting involved. You know,
Mhm.
contributing to BTC Pay Server and running. I mean, running a node that when that got announced in the Elon tweet. I feel like that kind of went under the radar. People were more focusing on like other stuff, like like you can finally pay in Bitcoin now for a Tesla, but it's like you want to hodl that Bitcoin, like ignore that. That's kind of this. I see it as like a little bit of noise. Like obviously, it's super freaking dope that you can pay for a damn good car in Bitcoin at any time you want, and like they didn't. If I remember correctly, they also adopted like Bec32 addresses, or they adopted SegWit or something already, like before some other exchanges who haven't adopted it yet, if I remember correctly. But am I saying that right? I don't remember. But yeah,
I don't think it's meant to be. I don't think it's like a word to be said, right? Is it Beck? Yeah, I know. I can see it in my head.
I mean, I hear people say it.
Yeah.
Beck
Anyways,
I know exactly. Look, I'll put it to you this way, Nick. I know exactly what you're talking about when you say that.
Okay, good. Yeah, like because they're doing really well, and it's really nice to see. And I hope more companies come out and use BTC Pay Server and say that they're running nodes, because that just makes the Bitcoin network even stronger, as more decentralized as more nodes pop up. So
I think companies won't have a choice, or they're going to stay poor. It's literally not. It's going to get to a point, I think, Nick, where it's not going to be a choice anymore. Like you're going to have to run a Bitcoin node. So. But sorry, Phil.
I'm sorry. I just want to add one last thing, and think about it. Right, what happens when all of these companies slowly start to incorporate services using BTC Pay Server? Well, now we don't have to leave the ecosystem anymore to do things. I mean, already we're increasingly less and less having to leave the ecosystem. Now all of a sudden we can buy a car directly from the manufacturer in the ecosystem. So
even though that'd be the worst decision you ever do with your Bitcoin, we definitely don't recommend that here at Simply Bitcoin. But hey, it's an option.
You're gonna do it. Hey, it's your Bitcoin. Do whatever you want.
And the argument of Bitcoin isn't money because you can't buy anything with it goes right out the window.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's right. Now you can buy like one of the best cars in the world. So
exactly.
Oh shit, that just happened.
Exactly. Speaking of bullish news, moving on to the next article. Check this out. So we reported this about 2 months ago, how PayPal was going to essentially add the ability for merchants to accept Bitcoin. Well, today that actually launched. Announced Tuesday, PayPal's checkout will allow Bitcoin, Shitcoin 1, Shitcoin 2, and Shitcoin 3 to be seamlessly converted into US dollars or other fiat currencies when making purchases, the same as credit card or a debit card would work inside a PayPal wallet, said PayPal, meaning merchants will not actually be the recipients of the cryptocurrency. That's the scam, right? So you could accept Bitcoin as payment, but you're not actually getting the Bitcoin, right? So that Phil, like, this is what, and you see the other side of this. You see Elon actually taking possession of the Bitcoin, right? So why would you use PayPal if they don't even let you hold it, right? It kind of defeats the whole purpose, right? Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts? And then we'll move on to Nick.
Okay, so I've anybody that's not a stranger to the show knows that I hate PayPal, so fuck PayPal. I don't really care what they do. I'm not surprised that they listed a bunch of shit coins that they're willing to accept. I do want to add...
But Phil, it's a big deal, dude. They have so many people on
No, I know. You're right. Big deal. So many people. Don't care for the shit coins. But I do want to add an extra ding. Notice that they didn't list BSV. So they're dumb, but apparently they're not that dumb.
That dumb.
So it's like, so anyways, so that you got to feel, you got to feel really crappy if you're a BSV bag holder and they won't even list your shitcoin, but they'll list these other shitcoins. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Don't say sorry. Don't apologize for that.
I know. It's Canadian. It's Canadian. It just slips Canadian. Out. It's like saying good morning, it's like, how you doing? I'm sorry. Anyways, so besides that, look, at the end of the day, PayPal is just doing more of their sketchy crap. They don't want you to take possession of Bitcoin. They are obviously they want to keep all of the alpha for themselves. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you're using their platform, you're not really taking possession of your Bitcoin and you're doing yourself a disservice. and you're helping PayPal out. So you're doing yourself a disservice and you're helping them. So that's a fail. Even though we already did the fail segment.
That should have been in the fail. Anyways, Nick, what are your thoughts on I guess rolling it out? Because it was announced like 2 months ago. Today it went live.
If you're going to pay for something in Bitcoin through PayPal, just pay in dollars, like keep your Bitcoin. If you want to help a company that's actually going to buy, actually accept Bitcoin, like Tesla, like Elon Musk said that they're going to hodl that Bitcoin. So, that Bitcoin's taken out of the supply. Like when you pay through PayPal, it just goes to US dollars. Like it's kind of pointless. Like unless you absolutely need to spend it for whatever reason, it's pretty pointless. Like just spend dollars. And I'm a huge advocate for not spending any Bitcoin. So just spend dirty fiat, save sweet Satoshis.
Amen. I couldn't say it better myself. And to end the news segment, I wanted to report this as soon as it came out. I'm from Miami. I got so excited when I heard it was in Miami. I literally started jumping up and down. But I was like, hold on, Phil. We need to get Nick on here to talk about it, because Nick does actually work for Bitcoin Magazine, which to report it, Bitcoin 2021 is moving to Miami June 4th through the 5th. And if you're a whale, June 3rd through the 5th. Super epic. General admission tickets or increase in 3 days. So definitely get your tickets now. I'm going, like I said, I'm super excited. It's in Miami. Nick, give us the inside scoop, man.
Sure. Is there anything you want to know? I mean, anything specific? I mean, we have, it's going to be, 2-day event, 3-day if you're going, for whale day. It's going to be fucking crazy. We're going to have so much stuff going on. We're going to have, it's going to be a nice casual conference. Like you're not going to be walking around in business suits and stuff. You're going to be outside in the sun in Miami, with all your friends from Bitcoin Twitter who can make it. Some unfortunately can due to COVID regulations. And that's really unfortunate, but there's always Bitcoin 2022 next year. But I mean, man, you're going to be walking around in the sun, drinking your hand, having a good time. To your left is going to be Tony Hawk shredding on a skate ramp, going crazy. To your right, there's going to be sumo wrestlers doing their thing. Like it's going to be the most crazy fun conference, dude. Is there anything specific you wanted to ask?
I'm super excited. I just want to say some of the speakers in the lineup. Senator Cynthia Lummis, or U.S. Senator, is going to be at a Bitcoin conference. That's kind of a big deal, okay? We got the Chad, Michael Saylor, we got Jack Dorsey. I'm going to skip over that name. Tony Hawk, Nick Szabo, right? Big hitters, right? We got some big hitters in the speakers. I'm freaking excited. I'm going to put down the link in the description, guys. Definitely go definitely go, but it is COVID, right? But if you can, definitely go. It's definitely worthwhile. If you've never been to a Bitcoin conference, it's awesome. You meet all the Bitcoin avatars from Twitter. You meet the real life people that are connected to that. So it's surreal. I had an awesome time at BitBlock Boom. I'm sure this is going to be on the level of that conference or better, right? I'm so freaking excited. But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. Looks like we've got Coldcard version 4.0.1 that was released, and that is down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our show. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to our awesome guest, the legendary Bitcoin Zoomer at Nick Camp Mine. Definitely follow him on Twitter. Has some awesome content. I absolutely love it. And of course, definitely make it to his show. He hosts it with My Living Truth, aka Optimus, and it's every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a Discord chat. They were Clubhouse before Clubhouse was Clubhouse, right? It's the OG Bitcoin room. They do two things. They do Teachers Lounge, which is a bunch of Bitcoiners talking, and then before that, they do this awesome Bitcoin presentation. Every week, it's a new one. It's a freaking awesome show. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a noob. It's literally right for you. But anyways, guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button. And of course, if you love our show, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.